the Rocstedi podcast.
Go ahead,
All right,
Rock.
so I'm going to give a shout out to these guys because you guys are the reason why this happens. You guys are the reason why how I've gotten to Fireside and have been building this community. It's the support from you guys. I want to bring you guys with me everywhere we're going. I want you guys to be successes as well. Some of you are getting on here. Some of you are doing that, and that's just amazing. So I'm really happy for it. We've got Bryce. Thanks for coming in, man. Sarah. We've got Core. We've got Steph. We've got Jenny, Malika, Leo, Daniel, Tinkalicious, David, Lolly, Video Girl. We've got M Spectacular, Natalie, Brianna, Charlie, Wendy. Thanks for coming. Sammy, how you doing? Truthful Sweet. She's just in every single show. Thank you, darling. Anthony. We've got John Kapos, Paul Vardo, Deborah. We've got Mark, which is Thunder, Keith Burr, Red Rosa, Shani. We've got Sexy Reds, which is Beth, Elvis the King, The Real Skinny, Zoe. We've got Tyne Hagon Brother, Uncle Eddie, Julie, Dave. Thank you for joining us in this show. We really appreciate it. Now, these people are the special people around me. These other people you need to follow and follow each other. I'm sure you do. But for any noobs that don't know who these people are, they are amazing people, and they are slowly working their way onto Fireside and going to be content creators if they're not already. And we're going to shake this shit up here, baby.
I love it. I love it. I love that so much. First of all, thank you for, I really appreciate you sharing that. I think all of these things are significant windows into things that shape us and that really do make us who we are. And I think these are some pretty defining moments. And then your ass shows up on Fireside, and we're like, who the fuck is Rocstedi? Like, who is this guy? And because you showed up, like you said, like the Joe Rogan of Australia, right? You wrestled crocodiles, and I was looking at you like, I feel like he probably does, actually. I feel like I'm like, yep, I'm pretty sure he does. And we just adore you. We could not, you already feel like family. Everybody you have brought with you feels like family. I just think it's incredible that all of this love that you've been giving out is coming back at you tenfold. And I think it speaks to we'll just move to this last part, maybe a little faster. I was really curious about kind of your history, but you're kind of knocking it out of the park from a creator marketing perspective. Like, you create the most amazing, graphics, and the way that you're using Instagram and the way that you're using social media, it's remarkable. I mean, you're a case study in creating, not only are you your own brand, but you're your own brand living in these different shows. And it's remarkable. And what's amazing about it is I feel like someone like me, because it's like, this is what you get. It's not cool. I don't have glasses. I don't have a theme song. And so I feel like, but I feel like you're so unique as an individual creator, but then you have these different, you still are able to create these different, while keeping true to who you are, these very different things within these different shows, right? There's sort of the you who really loves to interview and do these one-on-one conversations. And then there's Shotgun Candy, which is just its own thing. I feel like I'm going to see you guys on tour. I don't know. I think something's going on with that one. I almost want to be like, I almost want to call a couple of promoters and go, let's just try. Let's find an auditorium. I feel like it's going to work. I feel like it's going to work. Can you see Elvis like lit up from behind in the middle with the big, with the couch, and then you're in the car? I'm like, I can actually see it on stage. I can see this whole thing. I can. But you are oddly, you're pretty new-ish to the creator space, but you're kind of knocking it out of the park. So I think some of this has to do with that grit, and you're living back in Thailand, and you're going to figure out these sensory deprivation tanks, and then you're going to do And so I feel like you have this thing where you see things and you see the business, you can see how you're going to do it, you can see the customer base for it. And it looks like you're kind of applying that same thing into this space now as a creator. So will you fast forward? I know that you were a creator on Stereo. I know that's where you met many of these people. I hadn't heard of it, of course, because I'm just not that cool. And then you showed up on Fireside. But what are you looking at now with this sort of Rocstedi brand, and where are you taking this? Because you're working your ass off too. I mean, you're creating a lot of content.
Sure. So yeah, it's a bit of a loaded question where it wants to go. So I know exactly what I want out of this. I know the track. I have a 5-year plan from once I hit a particular milestone. That's when it's game on. So it's not even game on yet. The reason I'm doing such a vast amount of content is because I can be diverse in my conversations. Like you said, I'm not judgmental. So it's easy for me to sit in conversations and get involved. There's a couple of subjects I refuse to get involved in because I think that they always stop short, and it's particular people that you're only able to discuss these subjects with, and I might not have enough of an understanding of. Besides that, I'll get into nearly anything. If I had it my way, I'd just stick with the interviews. I love the interviews, connecting with people, just different stories that I hear or see. I'd like to speak to that person, so I'll reach out and I'll try and connect with them. I'm lucky enough to get an interview with them. And a lot of the other podcasts that I do with the diversity is actually to bring my friends into this and showcase them as well, and do something with them for our time to connect and hang out, as well as show off their talents as well. That's what this is about for me. So I have so many ideas in my head. I've got a dozen shows that I just can't get out. I physically haven't got the time to do it. If I had some sort of funding or assistance where I could just create, holy shit, you'll see some magic stuff happen. But right now I can't do everything. I'm not an acrobat. I'm not an octopus. I've only got 2 hands, right? So that's with that particular style. Now, where the Rocstedi sort of brand came from, it was a name that came up and kind of, as I was doing the interviews, it developed. But since then, the Rocstedi podcast has come out. Now, I guess I kind of had this target to create content. My end goal is to actually be getting paid with sponsors, doing this full time like a job. Mm-hmm. And when I say full time, I mean day and night, man. I mean I sleep, and it's because I love this so much. It's really a field or a game that I'm happy to be in. It doesn't feel like work. It's such an amazing thing. Like I'm on 24/7. Like when I switch off this, I don't switch off and go about my day. I go about my day with this in my mind. I'm here, and I'm trying to think. That's why it's always on, right? Like literally, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with an idea and I have to write it down and I go back to sleep because it must be going on in my dreams. I don't know, but that's because of the passion for it.
So you're a creative at heart. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, you are, in your heart, you are actually you're very creative. And although I think everything you did in the past is creative, I think being an entrepreneur requires creativity. I mean, you were trying to make something out of nothing, and you did it. You did it twice, and you're doing it again, I would argue, right now. You are—
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Everything that you are doing is— honestly, it's amazing. And what I notice about you, and we talked about this before, is that even with Shotgun Candy, which is it's funny and it's fun, you are treating each show that you are doing as a business. I mean, there is a purpose, and while you let it free flow, you've got a purpose behind it. You've got a beginning, a middle, and an end in every show that you're doing. And your creative represents that very professional business aspect of it, even if the content is humor or it seems like it's off the cuff. It's very purposeful. And I think you've struck a great balance, Rock, of structuring your shows in a way that can be unstructured, but ultimately there's a structure and there's a purpose behind the content, and it's clear. And so you are, I mean, you're a pro, and followed up by the fact that you have people who really, really are following you because they love you and they love your content. And I think for many content creators, building that community can feel tricky. But you've put in the work. I mean, you've done it. And so your people have found you, and you found your people, and that base of people is growing. It's growing. It's expanding. It's widening.